This isn't a dystopia warning, it's more of a dystopia update, really, about me. I know, terrible, isn't it? I went to Labour conference this week, as some of you will be aware. Now, what I'd normally have done is go to Labour conference, come back, and then dish a load of dirt or information or updates about what happened. However, in the run-up to going to the Labour conference, I received an uptick in threats and abuse that are far worse than they have probably ever been before. This is a particular individual or individuals that are extremely obsessed, and a part of me thought, is it related to the fact that I ripped up a bunch of, Britain First posters and then posted online exactly what I thought of them? Possibly, I don't know. But it's been going on for years, and it's from both what appears to be both sides, left and right, you see. And I say what appears to be because it's impossible to know who these anonymous accounts are on Twitter. What I do know is that hate forums like Tattle are places that increase the risk of escalation towards violence and kind of obsessive abuse, because they will stalk every single thing that you do online, add loads of subtext that doesn't exist, make loads of awful assumptions about you based on nothing, and then just spend days and days on end just ripping every aspect of you apart as a human being. It's lovely to deal with. It's also really great that the left just love to smear me, the so-called, left. I'm a part of the left, but this faction likes to try and smear the shit out of me, and then they will share that information, and then the right will pick up on it, and actual Tory MPs will use this information that comes from hacking and doxing to try and come for me too, in ways that kind of, mock my mental health or are openly sexist. This is exactly what I'm dealing with. So, but this incident was much worse than usual, so I reported it to the police. Didn't expect to hear anything from them for a while. Went off to conference, had to do a fringe event on the Monday night at the Camp and Furnace with Femi, Graham, Phil, Marina. It was a really good night, but the lead up to it was horrific, because on the Monday morning, whilst in a apartment on my own, which I didn't feel particularly safe in because of what's been going on, I receive a call from an anonymous number, and it turns out to be a female police officer getting back to me about the report that I'd made. Now, the call started off extremely antagonistic, like to the point where I was immediately put on the defence. She was trying to force me to say what this person had said, and I said, look, I've got screenshots, I've got videos, I don't feel comfortable repeating the kind of things that they say to me, to you. But she insisted, obviously. Now, I have complex PTSD, right? I have reactions to this, horrific reactions to it. I'm open about it because I want to help other people to talk about this type of stuff. And I don't want it to be a stigma. I don't want people to think that having this kind of thing means that you can't do things, or you can't stick up for yourself, or you can't go on and stand up for your rights and such. So that's why I talk about it, not to be a martyr, not to be a victim, but to try and help other people. And there's no low that these people won't stoop to. They'll throw that back at me. I receive hideous ableism. I receive, ableism mixed with misogyny on a daily level for, trying to help people. It's there's nothing that they won't try and pick apart. So I end up getting forced to the point where I'm forced to say out loud these horrific things that this person said to me by a female officer that was not believing anything that I said. She eventually admitted it's a crime, that it's malicious communications. And she asked me if I knew who it was. And I said, no, I block this account. They'll set up another 10. And I said, well, you can find them though, can't you? You can catch them. You are the police. You've got the resources to do this. No, was the response I got. No. I was like, what? You're not going to find this person who is escalating beyond a point that I've had to contact the police about it because I fear they're actually going to physically harm me? No. I said, that is your job. She said, no, it's not. She said, I'll sign it to a desk officer, but I said, well, what am I supposed to do if this person comes at me and attacks me? Call 999. Yeah, because there's so many ambulances, aren't there? I was reading a report a couple of months ago about if a woman has, you know, that crime that I can't mention because women get penalised online and their views reduced for talking about it, but yet misogynists can provoke it daily online. That crime, the one with a 1% conviction rate, the one crime with a 1% conviction rate that the Tories are trying to tell judges not to jail people for, that crime, a woman has more chance of getting a conviction for that crime if the perpetrator does that to them, because the only woman that's believed is a dead woman. Now it gets worse with this officer, because I said, well, what the hell am I supposed to do then? I feel threatened, I'm making, you know, content, I'm putting this information out and I'm getting threatened for it. Oh, you could just come offline. Wow. That's the modern day equivalent of don't wear a short skirt if you don't want to get attacked, love. Classic victim blaming, isn't it? So I've got to modify my actions with 500,000 followers across my platforms, my campaign work, the people that I'm trying to work with. I should just come off and silence myself because I'm being abused by someone who can just get away with it. Is that it? And look at the climate that the police are operating in. These are the people that have been given more powers to jail protesters, but they're not jailing people that are committing severe violent crimes, no? Giving more power to a group of people that are in the headlines every week for a new crime that they've committed towards women, towards people, domestic abuse, the worst crimes you can imagine, committed by police officers. Every system in this country is broken. So I had, an hour before I went on stage to do this event, I had a full breakdown, like a severe panic attack. I was hyperventilating. Paul Graham had to sit with me out on the street because I was sobbing my heart out. I just couldn't, I was shaking. I had to go back to my empty apartment, pull myself together and get to the other side of Liverpool to go to this event. I genuinely don't know how I did it, frankly. And the reason I was in that state is because the police refused to help me. They refused to even look at it. We all know what it'll take before they do. It'll take someone acting out one of these threats. It left me in a vulnerable, helpless, enraged position. I do all of this because I love doing it, because I care about it. And all this other stuff that I put up with because I care about what I'm doing. I never anticipated having this many followers. I'm not equipped for it. I'm very happy and humbled when people come up to me, but I'm shy almost and scared because I don't know if any of them are going to hurt me. I've had threats for 3 years in a row since day one. If I was doing any of this for myself or for personal gain, I'd have stopped 3 years ago, but I'm not. I'm doing it because I grew up with nothing and I have family that are still struggling financially, and I know that another 5 years of this government is going to ruin them. It'll ruin me. I have a complex stress disorder. No help from the mental health services because there aren't any mental health services. I'm not sitting in my ivory tower sipping champagne. I'm not going to be okay either way, right? And that's why I do all of this. And it's absolutely unacceptable that I get accused of being a grifter for having a bloody Ko-Fi link, whereas men that do what I do don't. That I get my physical appearance attacked day in, day out. That I get these horrifically specific threats as a woman that none of the men that do what I do get. And then when you go to the people that's supposed to serve and protect you, they shrug and they go, well, there's nothing we can do about it. They can find these people. They're refusing to. Partygate taught us, didn't it? That there's one law for like people like the government and rich people and another law for the rest of us. This government's taught us that protesters are the people that the police should be focusing on jailing, not men attacking women because they refused to make misogyny a hate crime, didn't they? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these people, these born to rule upper class holes, getting to run rampant, commit all these crimes, and then they get a police force to do their dirty work for them whilst leaving the rest of us to suffer the effects of crime. No, enough.